Associated Party Transactions, APT. Man City are claiming they beat the Premier League. The Premier League are claiming they won. Who won and how does this affect Forest? Welcome to your Forest News. As you guys already know, I am never wrong when it comes to my football predictions, especially when I'm talking about new players that are going to make it in the game. So when Mikel reached out to me and asked me, with all this profound knowledge you have, why are you not cashing in on it? I had to ask them how. And this is when they introduced me to Mikel. Mikel is a game-changing website where you can invest in players, a bit like you can buy stocks in a stock market. But the beauty of this is it's based on your football knowledge and which players you think are going to make it. So for example, if you think Elliot Anderson at Forest is going to be the next big thing, then you can invest in him now and potentially watch his stock grow. You can buy and sell completely securely and completely safely on their platform with just a click of a button. And the prices of these players will change in real time based on the market demand on them. So make sure you go check Mikel out. And on top of that, if you want to invest in any players that are not there, you can vote for them on the voting system as well, just like you can do with our boy Morgan Gibbs White. So go sign up to Mikel right now. It's completely free to do. All you need to do is either scan the QR code that's on the screen or click on the link that's pinned in the comments down below and go start making yourself some money on your football knowledge with mikelera.com. Alright guys, this video is going to be interesting because I'm no financial expert. I'm sure the majority of you guys are not. And I want to break down this associated party transaction stuff into a level that we can understand and then talk about how it's going to impact Forest with the potential changes that are coming with it. So if you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you are new here. Get your thoughts in down below on all of this stuff. So, APT. What does this mean? Associated Party Transaction. Well, in essence, it means when an owner of a club or a business associated with the club get together and put a sponsorship deal, in layman's terms. So, for example, if Marinakis decided that Marinakis wanted to use, say, his shipping company to sponsor Forest, let's just say they wanted to sponsor and rename the Trenten, for example. He, in theory, could turn to them and say, well, it's my money anyway. I want to put it into Forest, which will increase Forest revenue so that when it comes to FFP or PSR, then we're going to have so much more room above this on this sponsorship that we can buy whatever players we want. So, Mr. Marinakis, I'm going to charge Mr. Marinakis 100 million to sponsor the Trent end. Now, that would go down as income for the club. And what that would mean is when it comes to the PSR maths, that Forest would look very healthy and be able to buy more players at higher prices, higher caliber players, etc. So if he was to say to himself, I'm going to charge 100 million to call the Trent end, whatever his shipping company name is, then Forest are in the money. Now, this isn't allowed by the Premier League. What happens is this goes into one of their data banks where they look for fair market valuation of the sponsorship deal. If they find that this price has been overinflated, then they will reject it or, give the alternative to what the deal should be. Now, we've seen this happening with Man City, with the airlines, with all their other associated Middle East partners, where they're trying to get these sponsorship deals through. And what they've said is that these rules aren't fair. Now, these rules in themselves were triggered because of Newcastle. Back when Newcastle were taken over by Saudi, the Premier League panicked. This was like the 5th of October or somewhere around there. Back in 2021, I think it was, where Newcastle were being taken over. And literally 5 days later, these rules were drafted in, put in to protect, because Saudi Arabia owned basically everything. And they could have made so many of these APT deals that Newcastle would have been able to inflate their income to such a high level that they could afford to bring in Mbappe, Messi, Ronaldo back then, Neymar, all those kind of players, and walk the Premier League. So that's the panic that happened. And it is clear, even though it's not written in stone, that these rules came in because of the trigger of Newcastle. So that's the background on APT and why it's in place. And we are seeing, and some of Man City's 115 charges are about cooking the books and in this. However, don't conflict the two. This court case with Man City in the Premier League is separate to their 115 charges. Does that make sense? Have I set the scene? Let's take it to the next step now. Okay, so the next step is Man City took the Premier League to court. Now, what you need to understand is they weren't taken to court because every club that signs up to the Premier League as part of the agreement to be in the Premier League is that you can't take the Premier League to court, so it goes to an arbitration panel instead. What Man City have said is that these APT rules are illegal in line with UK law. And according to the findings, it's like a 176-page report. According to Man City, they are saying that they won and that these rules are not lawful based on UK law. So Man City are claiming a victory. The Premier League are also claiming a victory of the findings. And they're basically saying, there's a long statement that they put out. But what in essence they're saying is, yeah, we're quite happy. The panel found that there is a need for APT rules. And the fact is that we just need to tweak a little few things here and there. So they're claiming victory off the back of that. Now, Man City have now called an emergency meeting of all 20 Premier League clubs and basically said, you cannot believe what the Premier League is saying. I'm paraphrasing here. We need to sit down and discuss this. Now, how does this all affect Forest? Because one of the key things that Man City argued was about shareholder loans being excluded. Okay. Now, we know that Forest have done this before. Marinakis, for example, put in 50 million and basically converted that loan into shares. And this thing here is not specific Forest that they're looking at, but this whole thing is excluded from these APT rules. Why? Because they are saying, Man City have said, why should they be excluded? Because technically these loans are coming in interest free, for example. And what that means is that the clubs are benefiting from it. Now, what you need to add to that is these loans are not part of PSR. The Marinakis, for example, can't just say, here you go, Forest, here's 200 million of my money. Let's put that to the overall income number and let's convert that into shares, and that makes everything okay. So they're excluded from PSR, whereas the APT deals are not. They do create the income, etc. You guys still following right now? So what the talk is that these rules that are going to be changed are going to incorporate these shares to loans to shares into the new associated party transaction rules. And the Premier League have basically said, we'll knock it out in the next 5 to 10 days. We'll tweak the rules. And in the meantime, we're going to continue under the guidelines that we already have. Okay. So that's the scene set. That's everything that's going on. Now, something I want to add is there's been a few reports saying that Forest were witness to Man City, basically backing them. And then you had on the other side of it, Arsenal, Man U, Liverpool, etc., witnesses from the Premier League. As far as we can see, there's no evidence to back that up. It looks like Forest were just in the middle, kind of civilians in this whole thing going on. But clearly Forest will be interested in the findings. So the impact on Forest is this. If they do tweak the loans to shares and put them in there, it potentially can impact Marinakis clearing some debt for Forest like he has done in the past. So that would be a negative impact. However, we do know that Marinakis has gone to Saudi and had a look at investments and potential opportunities. I would assume, and I'm just guessing here, sponsorship deals, etc. And they may be associated to some of his businesses and what have you. Therefore, if these rules are tweaked now, I think they're going to be more lenient in terms of these APT rules. And they will allow not more overinflation, but easier access to get these deals done. So I think it will benefit Forest, where I think there are a handful of owners who care about their club and don't mind about the spending and putting it in and what have you. I put Marinakis in that bracket. And I think anything he can find to gain us an advantage, to fast track Forest, to be able to compete better with the Cartel 6, etc., is going to be an advantage to Forest. And if these APT rules are tweaked in that kind of advantage, then Forest will benefit from it. Look, Marinakis hasn't made his billions by, you know, not having plenty of interests around the world, plenty of companies that he's associated with, etc. So some deals like that could happen. Now, is it going to get to the stage where someone may sponsor the goalpost, you know, at the Trent end for 50 million? No, I think the rules will still be stringent enough that they won't allow for like crazy amounts of deals like that. But I don't think this is over. And I don't think either side have really won, if you want my opinion on it. Why? Because the Premier League will change the rules to suit their needs. But they look stupid because this is the Premier League's rules coming under scrutiny again in the space of what, 1 or 2 months, because they were told in the PSR one with Leicester that they messed up and their rules weren't written right. And in essence, this is saying it again, saying in this, you know, segment of your rules, you ain't got it right either. The Premier League will leave with egg on their face, but they'll flower it up, they'll redo the rules, etc. And I don't think Man City have won. Maybe they've had a moral victory, but what they want to do is have the taps fully open to allow for these overinflated APT deals and everything else so they can spend more and more. And no doubt, I know I said it's not linked into the 115, but I do feel that they may try and use this because some of the charges they have levied against them are about cooking the books on certain deals back in the day. So I don't think Man City can claim a victory either because the taps won't be fully open. So in essence, what I'm saying is we probably will end up somewhere near status quo again once the Premier League redoes their rules. But they will have to give some back to Man City. They will have to open the taps up slightly. If that's that the process is sped up because some of these deals took 3 months to be ratified after using their data bank, or if it's a case that they open it up a bit more just to shut up Man City, that will benefit Forest. So I can see Forest being okay out of all of this, but the shared to loan thing may cause us a bit of a headache. Now, as I said, this is a layman understanding of it. This is, you know, the research I've done. If you guys want more information, I'm sure I can get on the phone to our mate Kieran Maguire, get him on and explain it. But at the moment, I think we need to wait to see how the dust settles on this one, see just how big the impact is on Forest and what way they can do it. So get your thoughts in on all of that. I hope it's made sense. I have like brought it down to my level, to a layman's level. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys as well. If you enjoyed the content, please don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. If you haven't seen Grumpy Old Reds from last night, or should I say Happy Old Reds, go check it out. I'll leave it on the end screen for you. And go check out my Carrera and get yourself investing if you know what you think you know on your football knowledge. We'll see you on the next video on you Reds.